Welcome back to On Right Podcast. Here you have Elijah alongside Grant. We're going to get into another week of the Detroit Lions football. We are on the road versus the Dallas Cowboys. We just talked about Dak coming back off of a few week injury here. Cooper Rush kind of kept him afloat. I think Dak's ready. They're ready for Dak to be back on that offense. So just kind of want to throw it over to you. See state of Lions football. How you feel about going on the road versus the Cowboys?
Yeah. I think, it's one of the things, you got a bye week, and I'm just looking forward to seeing how they respond. The 1-4. This is really, in my opinion, it's like kind of like danger time. We're kind of that danger area of where things go south really quick, continue to go south really quick, or, they can maybe snag a W this weekend and, kind of keep themselves alive. So, it'll be interesting. You got Dak coming, like you said, you got Dak coming back. I'm into the mix. So I know off that alone, it's going to be it's a crazy environment, in Dallas, we're playing America's team. So I'll just be real curious to see, what kind of changes were made, in this, 2-week period, essentially, on their end to be able to, set themselves up for success too. Like I said, obviously you want them to get a dub, but I just hope that, we can find a way to at least be competitive after that last showing, we saw against the Patriots.
Yeah, I do think it's the time of year where the wheels are kind of falling off, or wheels could completely fall off. 1-4, staring down the barrel, 1-5. You're beat to hell as far as the roster. You're just riddled with injuries. Levi's out. That was announced, I think, since we last recorded. You still haven't seen Jameson Williams. You still haven't seen Pascal. You're just guys that you would expect to begin to maybe see or flourish a little bit by now. You just haven't seen. And then guys that you expected to be there are just down. We've been out Tracy Walker since week 2 probably. Yeah. So, I would say that's just looking abysmal. And obviously that's hard for any team to kind of compete with or fight against outside of the opponents you're going against every week. Yeah. But I do recall, I think it was the week we had James on. I remember us talking about how all the other teams were beat up and we weren't so beat up. And that's kind of that's when we should capitalize because the injuries were going to come. And sure enough, injuries came. And that's just that's going to happen in the NFL season. And I think that shows the real talent of a team who are your 2s and 3s, who can step up when somebody goes down for a few weeks, like a Cooper Rush, who can, do you have a guy that can come and play competitive football, keep you guys afloat? Knock on wood for him, but if Jared Goff ever goes down, we don't have a backup that's very flourishable. We don't have a Cooper Rush that can come in and win some games for us. So I would say, this is a very important game. It's important as you can be when you're 1-4, but 2-4 is a bit of a different feeling.
It is.
So I say all that to say, I just, once again, do not have a great feeling about this. Looking at the Cowboys, I think they lost to the Buccaneers and the Giants. Obviously the Bucks.
Tom Brady Eagles on Sunday.
Yeah. Okay. And so they lost to an undefeated team, a Tom Brady team, and the hottest surprise of the year so far. Yep. So I think none of those are horrific losses, and they're playing good football.
Yeah.
So I just kind of.
It's a tough spot. Like I said, you hope, at least, we should be getting, like, St. Brown should be a little healthier. He did play against the Patriots, but he wasn't as effective just coming off a rolled ankle. Swift should be, you hope he's going to be good to go. He had the shoulder and the ankle. I've been looking, just like checking on guys like Pascal and Jameson Williams. I think Pascal is really should be next couple weeks here. I think the last time I saw that was maybe a week and a half ago. Williams is probably going to be more November, and I think, you also kind of run that, situation too, or you start thinking about, is he worthy of bringing, back if they're 2-9 or, 1-10, whatever that kind of looks like. And you hope that, they're going to find ways to continue to be competitive or to be competitive and to win a couple over the next few weeks. Because I do think that might be a little bit dependent on who shows up, to the season and who might not. So I think Yeah, I mean, I think overall, you hope that they just kind of looked at the film Patriots game. Dan Campbell, I mean, whether it's seeking out advice or, trying to, just band up with the coaching staff and, yeah, I mean, just kind of figuring out, looking at what the real issues are. And I think, it's defense, obviously, and just, the play calling and the game management. I hope it's something that they really, look to have an emphasis on, this week, just to, yeah, like I said, hopefully put up a fight, against the line or against the Cowboys. And yeah, I mean, it'd be great to go down to Jerry's world and steal a W. I mean, that would, yeah. And I know we come on here and be pretty, pretty negative about them, but I think that's something to me, at least kind of help me to, have a little more, hope and just like, optimism for the season going forward.
For sure. I mean, whenever you beat the Cowboys, I'm not gonna be mad about it.
Right.
They're America's team, not mine. I'm not the biggest fan of them.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, I just don't see it. I have, but I do hope for it.
Yeah.
I'm still rooting for the squad. I think now, you talk about Jameson Williams. I'll be honest, I can't see them bringing him back. I kind of think for this season that ship has sailed.
Possible.
Yeah, I think, like you said, if he's going to come back a month from now, I just don't know. Even if we split them,
Yeah. I'm curious
we'll
now.
be entering at 3-6.
Yeah.
On a tender knee with not a lot to play for. I just don't know if we'll see him. But I think a lot of other players are kind of, what we can do with the rest of the season is we have to figure out who we want to keep. Is golf here to stay? Are we going to start shopping him around? Or is he going to be around now this season? DJ Shark, 10, $11 million contract, has 7 catches so far this season. What are we going to do with him?
Yeah. Look at, he's on a 1 year, so I think.
Yeah. In general, though, just people we have to kind of evaluate. Hawkinson,
right.
Swift. These are all players that I don't necessarily know they're guaranteed if they're on the roster next year. So you have to kind of figure out what you even want to do. And it sucks that you're at that point of the season already. But I think you do have to begin to evaluate some of those players at this point to see if they're long-term prospects. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm looking now, not to cut you off, but I did pull up an article just here real quick, and it's the USA Today. I mean, they're saying that the debut for Williams could very well just be like Thanksgiving. Like that might be the timeline of when he may show up. So that's 40 days, give or take, something like that. 50 days.
40 games and 5 or 6 games probably.
Yeah. So. Like I said, that's one thing to kind of make a decision on. I mean, maybe just kind of have him practicing and kind of going through the ringer to where he's just kind of doing that at a high level and kind of keeping him out, protecting him.
Yeah.
But
this is just I literally can't think of anybody, but I can't think of a guy that high of a draft pick coming off an injury on that bad of a team that they put in with 4 games to go.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that's kind of more or less asking for trouble, really. I think at that point you just give him the time off. If he can't play half the season, you give him the time off to get 100%. And that's my personal opinion. I'm not an expert,
right.
But I just think I think we're at an interesting spot. I think another person that we just can't let off the hot seat is 4th down Dan. I'm almost wondering if at this point it would almost be comical for him to go out and not do a 4th down. Because that means he's listening to everybody, So he's kind of at a bad place where if he keeps doing what he's doing, it's a clown show. And if he all of a sudden doesn't do any of them, then it looks like he's listening to people coach him from Twitter. So I think he's at a real interesting part of the season. I think people are getting just very tired of hearing the same excuses. And another person I have to just be honest is Brian Holmes. I think we need to begin to look at we needed depth. And we did not, we traded up to get players. We're drafting players that you had known had injuries and they're not able to come out and play yet. I just think that is starting to be alarming.
It is.
You can't, as bad as Dan Campbell is, I do think, he didn't hire Dan. He came into him, right?
I think they came in together.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
they were kind of like,
So
I think they both started the same year.
yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. I just kind of think
That's a tough
it'd
decision.
be interesting to see where he takes this offseason and this draft. Obviously, you don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but I think
Right.
if if we, if we don't see these two players at all this year, we have Malcolm Rodriguez and Hutch from this draft class
Yeah.
on the worst team in the NFL. We had the second worst pick, or the second pick.
And like I said, not to get us too ahead of ourselves, but I think one thing that I can say with confidence that should and will and it definitely should happen is 7, 10, 11 picks, however many we have next year's draft. I think it got to be all defense. I think you just have to you see teams like the Jets that really prioritize defense. They just went and stomped out Green Bay in Green Bay. So it's just looking at those types of examples where I don't know, man. Like I said, I know a lot of people, like Jameson Williams and get it. Like I understand what the reasoning for it, but I don't know if it was what we needed. Especially having we had a 1 already. You had a 2 pretty much. You got Josh Reynolds. You have a pretty formidable receiving core to begin with. So I don't, but yeah, I agree with you. Like Brad Holmes, he's definitely somebody that, start to, if the draft, if next year starts to look a little weird, just how the draft unfolds and stuff like that, people are going to start asking a little more questions.
For sure. And, I'm ready to transition to, a more team that I'm more excited to talk about. But
Yep.
I would say we also can't forget, I don't want to throw, I'm ready to throw Campbell under the bus, but I don't want to throw Brian Holmes under the bus quite yet. I get it. But also, I really thought about this the other day, and we do a whole podcast on this, but none of this is ever going to change until we get rid of the owners. That's the, you got to go to the root of the issue.
Yeah.
And, they are the ones hiring everybody, regardless of who it is, coach or GM. And I would say that is the root of the problem. It just really, really re-hit me the other day when I was thinking about this.
Are you saying they stop focusing on Snyder and start focusing on the forwards instead?
Yeah. We definitely don't. If they did an investigation in the Lions, there'd be something, but that's a whole nother story.
I think, this is just awesome, just joking, but what if we just paid Megatron and everything just started getting better? Do we owe Barry anything? I feel like there's something in our past from just having these great players in NFL, literally probably a top 3 receiver and a top 3 running back in NFL history did them so wrong. I think we're just paying for it still because we won't pay Megatron.
Hey, it might be something to it. But no, I see you rocking the Detroit Pistons hat. Yeah. Tip off is right about now, actually, versus the Magic, game 1. I'm ecstatic about what the Pistons can do this year. I know you are as well. We've been talking about it. I think we did the cade draft live, actually. So we've been on it since day 1. I'm just really, real excited to see us put together something fun to watch this year.
Yep.
And some competitive basketball. So, I don't want to say too much on it. I'll throw it over to you. Kind of what are your, just kind of lay it all out. How do you picture the season going, or how do you want it to go?
It's excitement, but I'm definitely I'm excited, but I'm realistic, right? 32 and 50, 35 and 47, 37, 43. I'd be happy to kind of see them, in that tier, in that range. I'm really just excited to see Cade take that next step. I think Jaden will, kind of coming out the gate, a little sluggish here and there, kind of still getting his footing. But I just think it's off of talent alone. He's just gonna. I see him as kind of. We're John Morant. That's who he models himself after. That's who he plays like. I could just kind of see that same similar trajectory. I really do think we got the Rookie of the Year in our, in our backcourt. I really want to see how this team, forms and plays together. Obviously, it's great to see. Weaver's been doing a hell of a job with the trades. We keeping the whole core together and everything. But what kind of decisions may need to be made, when it comes to be the trade deadline. I just kind of be curious to see how things unfold as we start to get deeper into the season. But I'm expecting Cade to, take that leap. We got guys, all you guys are excited about, Isaiah Livers, Saddiq Bey, Killian Hayes, glad to see, just having people like Alec Burks and Nerlens Noel and Bogdanovich just like, in the cut too. So they're able to just, hopefully bring them along quicker, in some way, shape, or form and make them a little more competitive. And yeah, I mean, this is something that I'm definitely going to be, looking forward to, watch as many games as possible. I'm going to definitely get to some games this year. And I think it's going to be a good season for us, a good season in the right direction.
Yeah, no, so I think you're pretty much spot on with those win totals. I think I said this a while back, but I want competitive basketball well into post All-Star. I think my goal would be us. I think my goal would be us making the play.
Yep.
That means I think we are spot on trajectory to be a competitor in the East in like 2 to 2.5 more seasons after that. If we like make a play in this year, that means theoretically playing this year, 5th, 6th seed, 3rd, 4th seed after that. 2 or 3 years out. So I think that's kind of we're a real factor in the East. But I think obviously I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but I think that is kind of, if we do that, then I know we're spot on with that. If we come out and we, only add 5 wins to the win total, I think I'm gonna be a little internal sound alarms. Maybe we don't have the necessary pieces, or maybe some of these players aren't who we thought they were.
Right.
But not, barring injury, barring things like that. We're obviously in a very competitive division as well. That's something that I don't think should be overlooked. The Bucks dominating. Bulls, very formidable, tough. And then now you got the Cavs.
Good without Brown finally.
Yeah. And we don't know what that's going to look like, but I'm sure it's going to be hard to defend. Hard to play against. Donovan Mitchell should be in the Pistons jersey. That's a whole nother story though. But Donovan Mitchell got traded there, and I think he don't get too mad about it.
I know. I thought Booker too.
Yeah, bro. I know. We ain't passing on them now, though. We got our guys. But I think I want to be sitting at 12, 11, 10, on St. Patrick's Day, where it's late into the season and we can do this. We can be in a play-in. That's kind of where I envision it. Just a fun, exciting team. And I'm repeating myself back in the summertime, what I feel like, but where maybe we go out and we beat a couple teams we ain't got no business beating. We beat the Celtics, we beat the Heat one night or something, and then we go around and we lose to, the Houston Rockets or something. Like we're one of those teams where we sway a lot, but we're hard to, nobody wants to play against us.
Right. I think they could definitely be that team that you think, that West Coast team's on a 5-game road trip, and that Tuesday game going to be against Detroit, going to be sleep when it's going to be an ass kicking because this is not what this is anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope
you're a little sluggish, you overlooking us.
I hope we knock somebody, down a couple of notches and, they are 11 seed instead of a 9 seed in the play-in, and that kind of screws over, I hope it is just kind of like some chaos to where we're crashing the party if we can't join the party.
Yeah, exactly. I 100% agree. And I think we have the firepower to do that. Talk, and I think, Weaver we talked about this before. I have 100 times the confidence that I have in Weaver compared to, like, let's say, where we just talked about Brian Helms. But anyways, Weaver, I could see the chessboard that he's playing. We were sitting around mad about him trading Grant, and then it all came together the next day. We haven't had all came together moment with the other franchise yet. But I would say I see getting pieces like Alec Burks, getting pieces like that's his name, Bogdanovich. Those are guys that they could easily work out for us, and we could keep one, we could keep both, and build around and have them as a piece for our team. Or it's not working out. Those are easy trade bait to somebody like the Lakers, to somebody like the Nets.
Bogdanovich is a first overall. It's a first round pick for sure.
Yeah. So I would say that's how I envision this season going. If we're at like 17 wins at the All-Star break, we probably unloading that roster and building up our arsenal to go get additional picks, maybe another young player. But I'm very excited. Cade, Jaden, Ivey, Duran, those Bay. those are the anchors that I see are going to be a force in the East within a couple of years.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and also once again, just to say it, I want to keep putting in the ether. Just keep them books clean. We need
Right.
we need to be able to re-sign Cade and whoever he wants when he's a free agent. And
I saw they waived Campbell.
yeah,
so I don't know how that works as far as like, I don't know if that contract is like not really our problem anymore. But like, I mean, even it was only like $8 million, so like it wasn't a huge deal. But that's just
yeah. I could be just pulling this out of my ass and misspeaking. I think it's I guess I don't know. I don't know if he bought out or not, so I'm not sure how that works. But I know
right,
NBA contracts are guaranteed, so somebody got to pay him that money.
right,
So,
right.
and
Yeah.
and I know that we are one of those teams that just have a lot of excess cash. So if we were just eating contracts, so people like the Knicks to go win, 32 games, we were just
It'll be
eating.
gone next year, so it's not nothing crazy.
Yeah, no, it ain't crazy. And then I think our books are so pristine, and we have a couple of great young pieces. And actually, you said Jaden Ivey winning rookie of the year. I was trying to log into my DraftKings, but I got locked out to see what that would be. That's not a bad little bet. You might have to get Sage back on here to see Siege back on here to talk about that. But,
talk about it.
but no, I in general, I'm just looking. I'm looking forward to what we can do. Detroit basketball is on the rise. And it starts today. I think if we go out there and get the magic, I'm gonna be riding high.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so I think, like I said, it's one of the things, man. It's another season. Everybody starts fresh slate, and I mean, I'll be honest. It's probably, obviously, was pretty excited last year, but it's probably most excited I've been about Pistons basketball. No lie, since 04, 05, 06.
Since we got AI.
There. Say again.
I said since we got AI.
Yeah, well, you know how I feel about that trade, but
hey, I was hyped when it went down, bro. But no, no, I'm messing with you. No, so I mean, I don't have no idea either. You don't either. But let's just throw it out here. What do you think Cade's point total? What do you think his stat line look like this year? What do you think Ivey's stat line look like this year? And then we can get out of here.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think for Cade, I think expectation should have looked at like Luca's, or just kind of, somebody of that, who he kind of remind me of where they were at. But I'll say, I think I need like 24, 7 and 7. I need, nice step ahead. I definitely understand, there's gonna be a lot of guys on that team that, you got a guys that he better give you 50 randomly. Like, so, we'll kind of see how that unfolds and what his role looks like. I think Ivey, I could easily see him being like a 15 to 17, shooting percentage a little bit down, but I think he'll be, aggressive, going to the cup, getting to the free throw line a lot. I can see him being like a 17, 5 and 5 guy, kind of similar right around what Cade was, with a little extra athleticism that might even help with that point total, on the back end when he gets more comfortable later in the season. What about you?
Sure. If Cade comes out and drops 24 a game, I'm gonna go ape shit. But no, I think we kind of, I don't know if we were on camera when we talked about this, but I think the idea that he is a tad more passive, I think I think his projection would be LaMelo Ball. So I think I'll put him at the 20.7 and 6, 7 and 7. I think you're spot on with the rebounds and assists. I think he needs to hit that 20 clip. I think that puts you in that first category of, all right, he a 20 a night guy. Yeah. And then and on top of that, I'm damn near a couple of points or a couple of rebounds and assists away from a triple double. That's how I envision his game. That Luka, that I know it sounds blasphemy, that LeBron-like game, that Luka game, the LaMelo Ball game, where you're kind of a little bit of everything, and
bigger playoff positions.
Yeah,
6'9" playing a point guard, 6'8", 6'9" playing a point guard. Like he's already, he's got the tools to be able to be all over the court. I'm just gonna be real curious to see how they decide to use them.
For sure. And then with Ivey, I would say I think you're pretty much spot on. I'm a little weary just to see like his 3-point shooting. I know that's what the big thing was before, but he is a flash. Like the dude is like some of his first steps are crazy. So I think if depending on how much one-on-one game, he could put up 20. If he was on a bad team without a Cade, he could put up 20 his rookie year, like easy. But I think I think he needs to be probably, or will land somewhere around that. Like I'll give him like a 15 and 4.
Yep.
And with just a lot of upside, and probably of that 15, 6 of them are just going to be crazy dunks,
Yeah.
highlight reels, you know, everybody needs to look at that first step. That first step is special.
Yeah, and I even say this too, because I think, you know, and obviously we're just having, like, being realistic to kind of like, so probably not a whole lot of disappointment, but like my man's pedigree is through the roof. So like he just understands so much more about this game. And this is like assumption, but like his mama was a coach for the Grizzlies, his mama played for the Shock, like dad was a pro, grandpa was a pro. So like I do feel like, you know, we're being a little conservative, but it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I look at Ja's stats. He was 17, 3 and 7 his first year. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Ivey was right around, you know, that similar, stat line, just off of like, I think he is just, you know, kind of light years ahead of, could be light years ahead of a lot of other players.
I agree with you on all that. And I think where that really is going to show is on the defensive side. He is the only rookie that I've ever heard that's not a second round pick bring up defense. You know what I mean? Like he's a top 5 pick that said, I want to set the tone defensively.
Yep.
And I think that's where he's really going to separate himself and set the tone, where he game in and game out, he's on that other point guard or that 2 guard's ass. And just that aggression alone, being up in the front court with that speed, is going to lead to a lot of fast breaks, a lot of exciting plays. I'm very excited about it. I just looked up the starting lineup too, just to see what we had for tonight. And oddly enough, they got Cunningham and Ivey both listed as point guard, which is kind of weird.
Okay. Yeah. So they already playing that game of like, we won't figure out who do, you know, pick your poison pretty much. And, you know, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But no, I'm excited to see what Detroit's going to bring. You know, 100% we're going to get to a couple games. You got anything else for the people?
That's all I got, man. Detroit basketball. Looking forward to seeing what they can do tonight. We'll be back with y'all this weekend.
Yes, sir. Peace.